It was going to be a very frustrating night at the ballpark until Justin Turner stepped to the dish.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Sam Olbert. I'm a lifelong fan taking my passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and give us a comment below. Also, the best way you could support the show is by telling me who you want me to criticize, because then the next game, they're going to have the game of their life. We did a show about Dansby. The next day, he's been the best hitter ever since. There was nobody that loved the Justin Turner signing more than me when it happened, but I finally lost a little bit of patience with him, and boom, a maybe the biggest swing so far of the young season from him. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about Ballesteros. We're going to talk about we're going to do a little 9 and 9 from the offseason, just a little progress report on the position players, see how they're doing, and then an Ian Happ update that wasn't the best on Tuesday. But we start at Wrigley Field with a comeback walk-off home run walk-off double on Tuesday night. Cubs were down 4-2 heading into the ninth inning. And like I said, it was shaping up to be a very, very bad loss. There's really not a whole lot to talk about positive in this game besides the result, besides the ninth inning. So I'm going to get to that first and then cover the rest. It was 4-2 heading into the ninth. As I said, I had the whole show ready. I've never been happier to change my plans. It was going to be a somber show. I was probably going to lose my temper. And Carson Kelly got an infield base hit. It's like, all right, okay. Now we got a little life. And the Wrigley crowd, all Wrigley needs is just a little spark, and they make the moment feel so much bigger than it is. And I'm telling you, it impacted their closer. It did. He's not used to that. He usually pitches in front of about 29 fans. Okay. Dansby draws a walk, 2 on, no out. Ballesteros has his fourth weak ground ball of the day. Luckily, it was hit slow enough where he wasn't able to double up. Actually wasn't a bad result, because then Craig could go to Brujan to pinch run for him. I was expecting Brujan to run, and I was thinking to myself, man, if Brujan could get to second before this at-bat is over from Nico, we got a great chance to tie the ball game. Nico gave him a pitch to run, took a strike, and then hits a rocket in the left center field. Couple really hard hit balls so far for Nico the last 2 nights. Happy birthday to him, by the way. And Brujan's able to get to third. And then Turner comes to the plate. And as much as bad as he's been, and as frustrated, I think, as me and a lot of us have been with him, the one place he really has been reliable is with runners in scoring position. He's 7 of 13 now on the season with runners in scoring position. He's 3 for 33 with nobody on base, but 7 for 13 with runners on. He's had some big hits and some big at-bats for the Cubs off the bench, and I think ultimately that's his role. And as frustrated as I was and have been with him, I still liked him in that spot. Call me crazy. I'd rather have him up in that spot than Seiya. You know what I mean? I just felt like, hey, he's going to put the ball in play. He's a veteran guy. This isn't even one of the 150th, biggest ABs of his life. The guy's played in World Series, and you knew he had a plan. He swung at a first pitch slider off the zone, then got another one and just stayed back enough to hook it in the left field corner, had great speed with Nico running, and the Cubs won the ball game. And we're going to talk a lot about, struggling guys and things that are, starting to become concerning, none bigger, of course, than Julian Merriweather. But this is what you have to do against bad teams. You play a good team, you're not going to win tonight. You play an okay team, you're not going to win tonight. But when you're playing against an opponent that's going to keep you in the game, that's not that good, you can get by struggling. And the Cubs just got by today and now are in a great position to sweep their first series at Wrigley Field this year. And, I'm not going to celebrate the way it was done in terms of, hey, was this a great performance? Even last night, it's just business right now. Just win as much games as you can and try and get out of these funks. Even though you're playing the Marlins, you just won a game where Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki didn't get on base. That's pretty hard to do. You won a game where you had a reliever have another really bad outing. And you won a game where you're down 2 heading into the 9th, which you guys know I love. Those are just the best type of wins. So great win for the Cubs today. Really came out of nowhere. Didn't feel like it was going to be one. Let's get into, some of the not so bright spots of today. Let's start with Merriweather. I think I tweeted out about it was the Sunday Brewers game. So about 9-10 days ago, I said he should be out of the circle of trust. He had a great spring training. He deserved a really good look early in the year. He didn't really pitch that much early in the year. When he did, he was fine. And then it just started to trend bad. And, when you're looking at relievers, right, sometimes the number, especially early in the season, the ERA number is deceiving. Like Porter Hodge. I think Porter Hodge is still the best reliever on the Cubs. I think he's pitched the best out of all of them. His ERA right now looks bad because he's had a couple bad outings, but I still think the process is fine. He just needs to get more whiffs. You know what I mean? With Merriweather, the process just didn't look good for a while. He's throwing 95, 96. Today was 93, 94. He's not missing bats. Matt and I have been talking about it off the air and on the air. He's not missing bats. He walks a lot of guys. It's just, it's enough. He's either out of high leverage or you need to put a phantom IL spot on him because he's not pitchable right now in those spots. And then you add in Ryan Presley, who did a nice job today, got a strikeout with the bases loaded. But you can't have 2 guys like Merriweather and Presley that are unpitchable in high leverage spots. That needs to get fixed. And it needs to get fixed quickly. And it's been trending in this way for a good long while. I actually got a lot of flack on Twitter. No surprise there. When I tweeted that, everyone's like, he's got a 2 whatever ERA. It's like, yeah, but just watch. With bullpen guys early in the year, it's almost more about trends than it is about results. And the things will even themselves out as the year goes. Offensively, until the 9th inning, it was rough. I thought Beozo left a lot of pitches in the zone. Cubs didn't take advantage. We'll talk more about Ballesteros in the next segment, so I'll save that. Kyle Tucker's in a slump right now. He really is. This was an 0 for 4 from him. That was a weird one. Just didn't look comfortable. Now that I said that, I expect him to hit one down Kenmore Ave tomorrow night. But he's in a bit of a funk, and Seiya and Bush and those guys. It is what it is right now. And it's one of those spots where, if you could continue to win games when those guys are struggling, we know, especially with Tucker, that he's going to get back on track at some point. And so just surviving and winning these games is really, really key. And the Cubs did that on Tuesday night. Pete had another huge day, hit a homer, and had a single and had a sac fly. So he continues to stay hot. Another good day for Dansby, Nico, etc. I thought Ben Brown did a really nice job on Tuesday night because I appreciated, same thing with Merriweather about process. I appreciated Ben Brown's process tonight. The wind was blowing in and he made a concerted effort. I'm not going to get beat with the walk. I'm going to get beat with guys, hitting the ball into the wind. And Stowers hit a ball 109 miles an hour straight through the wind for a solo home run. Give him credit. The other run that scored probably should have been kept off. The Cubs defense wasn't great today. Horner probably should have made that play and got that runner at home. The line's not going to impress you. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs against the Marlins, but no walks. He did what he was supposed to do tonight, and he challenged a Marlins team that really is void of slug and danger. And, they hit one. It is what it is. But I thought that was a step forward for Ben Brown tonight, and I give him credit for his process on that. And, the Cubs won. It's one of those games where you're not going to hang it in the Louvre. You're not going to talk about it in terms of its beauty, but the Cubs won. And how many times did I say it on Monday's episode? Just win as many of these games as you can. Bank it. You don't have to talk about it. It doesn't have to be 12-2. You don't have to pad stats. Just find ways to win as many of these games as you can, because no team, as hard as the Cubs' April stretch was, no team has an easier run than the Cubs do over these next 21, and you want to win as many as you can, and you're off to a 2-0 start. The last thing I'll say before we move on to Ballesteros is that I want to sweep this series. You already had your bad game that you should have lost, and you found a way to win. take that momentum into tomorrow and go sweep this series, okay? You couldn't really play much worse than you did today outside of the ninth inning offensively. Tyone should have a bounce-back outing, I would hope, assuming the conditions are similar. He always pitches well, Wrigley, with those conditions. Go finish this. We had a chance to finish San Diego off at home, didn't do it. Had a chance to finish Texas at home, didn't do it. Let's finish off this Marlins team. Let's get a sweep, have a nice 3-0 cushion to start this 21-game stretch, and then all you need to do is take the series against the Sox. You don't have to sweep them. You feel really good when you go back to Miami to face these guys. So really, really nice win today. It doesn't get any better than when you come back at Wrigley Field down 2 in the ninth. It's just the best feeling. It's the best feeling in the world. One of the reasons why I had to take longer for the show is I was screaming. You would have thought that this was mid-September and we just shrunk our magic number to 6 or 5 or something like that. But these type of wins, man, they are beautiful. And I got to tell you, as bad as the watch-alongs have been in terms of us being 0-4, when we're solo, the Cubs find a way to win, and sometimes in dramatic fashion. So that's really good. I'd like to talk about Moises Ballesteros, why the Cubs called him up. How long will he be up for? What's going on with Ian Happ? All that stuff. We're going to talk about that coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast, like Vidal Brujan going first to third on that Horner single. From coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. So join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. We are back here on Locked On Cubs, celebrating with 600 of you a Cubs walk-off victory down 2 in the ninth inning. Believe it or not, it was going to take a very crazy game to steal the lead from what was the biggest story with the Chicago Cubs today, and that was really a two-parter. Ian Happ going to the injured list, and Moises Ballesteros, the Cubs, I think, top hitting prospect, getting called up to the big league. So let's start with Ian first. I never will ever think that an oblique is day-to-day. I just don't. I don't care what the manager says. And credit Craig Counsell today. He actually came out when he was talking about Ian Happ and said, I was wrong. I was wrong about what I said, it being a day-to-day injury. Happ tried to, get going before the game yesterday. He still felt it a little bit. They're going to put him on the injured list. There was two kind of contrasting updates with it. Happ on 670 The Score during his weekly appearance said he feels like he's going to be ready to go Tuesday, which is the soonest that he could come back in Miami, and felt really optimistic. Craig's press conference was a little bit more not so fast. We hope it's a minimum stay, but I think after thinking that it was a day-to-day stay, they're going to, be really careful with it, as they should. I don't know what it is about the Cubs and obliques. Seiya's had some, Assad's had some. I feel like there's more, and now Ian has one, but those they're never day-to-day injuries. I mean, your entire swing, you're torquing and you're using those muscles. So, we'll see what happens with Ian. The corresponding move was bringing up Moises Ballesteros. And the question is, let's first answer, why do the Cubs do it? Well, the Cubs did it because, number one, he's been the best hitter, not only in the Cubs system in AAA, but one of the best minor league hitters in all baseball. Number two, and Craig said this is really a short-term thing because, and Craig didn't say that, but the following is, Cubs are facing a lot of righties over the next week, right? So it's a really a good landing spot for Ballesteros, despite his performance today, which we'll get into, which makes me think that unless Ballesteros does something crazy, this will be when Ian Happ's ready, Ballesteros will go back down. The Cubs just have to fill a need. Ballesteros is the logical option. He's earned it. The Cubs are taking these games seriously, especially after what Justin Turner did on Tuesday night, because the only way Ballesteros would really be able to stay up if the Cubs are fully healthy is if the Cubs decide that Justin Turner isn't that guy anymore. And I think with his hit today and just his pinch hit appearances and his veteran, just showing his veteran presence in those spots, they're definitely not going to do that. So I would expect Ballesteros to go down when Ian Happ comes up. As far as his performance today, let's talk about it a little bit, because we thought that Ballesteros would get called up, but we didn't really get a chance to evaluate him as an offensive player, get really into the details. We just kind of said the statistics. So Ballesteros, you kind of saw, you're going to see, I'm sure at some point, the pluses of Ballesteros. He is a bat to ball machine. He has unbelievable contact skills. He has unbelievable hand-eye coordination. That is a blessing most of the time, but sometimes it is a curse for a 21-year-old. And so today you saw that, right? When you could hit everything and put the bat on the ball on everything, you feel like you could just swing at everything. And what happened today, especially in that bases loaded 1-out situation, is he got a 1-0 pitch that was out of the zone, but because he's talented enough to get his bat on it, he swung at it and it turned into a double play ball. So those are the things, the growing pains that he'll have to deal with. But it was his first game. He's 21 years old. I mean, just a super young guy. I'm so happy that the Cubs were able to walk off for him, because unfortunately, if they didn't, that at bat with the bases loaded and 1 out was going to really kind of be a big story in this game, because I just thought Belloso wasn't very good, and that was the time to get him. You guys have heard me say that. So I'm really happy that Turner was able to bail him out and, make that kind of a non-story. So we'll see. I believe the Marlins have a left-hander going tomorrow, Ryan Weathers. So I would expect you won't see Moises back in the Cubs lineup until Friday. But then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think he will be in the lineup all 3 of those days DHing. I'd also like to give a shout out to Seiya, who's not been swinging the bat well at all, but he's looked pretty good in left field. He really has. And with a position that he's not played before at this level, I think he's really held his own there, which really helps the Cubs and gives them some flexibility. So that's the story with Ballesteros. I think that it's really, really important that the Cubs get Ian Happ back. They need his steady presence in the leadoff hole. As much as I love PCA there, I don't think that's where the Cubs are going to go long term. It's just tricky with him hitting in front of Tucker and Seiya, so he doesn't get to utilize his speed as much. And Craig said this. I think it's Ian Happ's job. I really think this lineup is better when Ian Happ is leading off every day. I thought Happ was really off to a really nice start this season before his injury. He was in a little 0 for 12, 0 for 13, which made his numbers look a little bit worse than they were. But I hope that this is a minimum stay for Ian Happ, and he can come back soon, because I think he's really important to this team on both sides of the ball. So enjoy Ballesteros. It's fun. I like that the Cubs did it. It's just it's another example of the Cubs' aggression. They could have just said, oh, well, we don't want to rush him up here. Let's just do this. No, I really believe that Jed Hoyer, Craig Counsell, and Carter Hawkins said, hey, we need to win a lot of these games this week, and the best option for us with matchups is Moises Ballesteros, so we're going to bring him up. Didn't work out for him on Tuesday night, but it's 4 ABs. He's got a long way to go in what hopes to be a promising career. Not a guy right now that's really ready to defend at any level. Maybe he could catch a couple innings in a pinch. I doubt it. Just hasn't caught enough. So he's a DH only, but I was glad to see it. I was excited. It's always fun when you have a new reason to watch a game. On Saturday night, it was must see. Cade Horton's on the mound. Tonight, you got to watch Moises get a chance to hit. So always really good stuff when you get a chance to debut a really fun prospect. And hopefully he has better luck whenever he plays next, probably on Friday. Coming up next, we're going to do 9 and 9 minutes, a progress report on all the position players, the main 9 guys so far, and if they're above where we thought they were going to be, below, and what they need to do the rest of the season. We are back here on Locked On Cubs, and we're going to close out the show with 9 and 9 minutes. If you're new to this segment, I did it a couple times in the offseason where I just spend basically a minute on each player. And just in the offseason, I talked about numbers and what they need to do for the Cubs to win the NL Central. And we're just going to do a quick progress report on them right now and see if they're up to standards, below standards, or exceeding expectations. So let's start. Let's just go around the horn and start at third base. Originally, when we did this exercise, it was Matt Shaw. The goal was for Matt Shaw to just be competent over there defensively, have an OPS maybe in the low to mid sevens. Obviously, that's been a putrid position for the Chicago Cubs. It's been a rotation between Nicky Lopez, John Birdie, Matt Shaw, Justin Turner, Vidal Brujan. It's been awful. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. It's their worst position by far, and it is far, far below expectations. And really, in the last couple years, it's just been the worst Cubs position. So, to be a glass half full guy, all you can do is go up from here. But for what we were hoping for in the offseason to now, it's been significantly below expectations and needs to get better as the season goes, because it can't be any worse. Going over to shortstop, Dansby Swanson. In the offseason, the goal was for Dansby to play his typical elite Gold Glove defense and just have an OPS in the mid sevens, just the mid sevens, just be a force there. Well, his OPS right now is over that. It's in like the mid to high sevens. If I could just do some quick math, I think it's in the 760s, 770s. I think his defense has been good. It hasn't been the great level of Dansby, but if you give me good, solid defensive shortstop defense and your OPS is in the 760s, you're on pace to hit 30 plus home runs. Dansby so far has been absolutely where he needs to be. If he could continue this pattern, even though there was a big slump in the middle, if he could continue this pattern for the Cubs, it's going to really, really help them. So Dansby's doing a very nice job so far on both sides of the ball, and the offense has really picked up, obviously, in the last couple of weeks. Moving over to Nico, probably, I think, the hardest guy to evaluate right now in the 9 and 9, because he's just not a guy I think you use numbers to evaluate. I mean, going into the year with Nico, I wanted him to either hit 300 or he needed to slug more, and right now he's hitting 281. His defense has been very solid, but what he has done is he's hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position, and he's getting big hits. And the what I like to use to describe Nico is he's a loud contributor. So even though the OPS doesn't look great or whatever it is, when he does deliver, they're in big moments. So it's loud, it's important. And I just think that's what he's really there to do. The Cubs don't need him to hit 15 home runs. I would love his batting average to be a little bit higher. I'd love for him to hit the ball in the air, especially on days like today, a little bit less. And see if he could get to like that 290 plus range. But if he's going to be the best hitter on the team with runners in scoring position, he's going to get clutch hits. He's going to steal bases. He's going to play, overall very good defense. I got to say he's meeting expectations so far, and he's doing his job. Going over to first base, Michael Busch. Michael Busch has been exactly what he needs to be so far. He really has been. Before the season, I wanted him to be OPS in the high sevens and continue his ascension at first base. He's been better than that. His OPS is in the 800s, obviously a little bit skewed because of a really, really, really good April. He's slowed down since then. But, if he continues to keep that, like I said, if Michael Busch is a 785 OPS guy with really, really good defense at first base, that's more than enough for this Cubs team. It's more than enough. So I would say, so far with Busch, he's meeting expectations, maybe even exceeding a little bit. But I have no problems with him so far. Left field, Ian, before the injury, exactly where he needs to be. Just exactly where he needs to be. I'd love to see a little bit more slug from him, if possible, which it is because we've seen him do it before. He only has 3 home runs, but really before that 0 for 13 stretch, he was doing a really good job setting the table. His role for this team's a little bit different than it has been in years past because you have Tucker, because you have Pete and guys that are hitting. He doesn't really need to hit 25 plus home runs if he's going to get on base at a 360, 370 clip. So as long as he continues to get on base and just basically beat Ian Happ, finish the year with an OPS in the mid to high sevens, get on base a lot, play Gold Glove defense and left, that's really good. Center field, I don't. Do we even need to spend time? It's just been extraordinary. It's just been extraordinary to watch this. This what is it? Month plus run that Pete Crow Armstrong is on right now is probably the most fun I've had watching a Cubs player perform. Maybe ever for me, just because it's just so fun and electrifying to watch this young man play. Obviously, he's exceeded expectations. I still think, it wouldn't be surprising if he did regress a little bit, but I'm not shocked. I predicted him to be an all-star this year. So it's not like what he's doing is, oh my gosh, it's not like Carson Kelly, you know what I mean? We'll get to. It's like we knew that this was in his bag, and the fact that it's just here right now has just been amazing. I know he swings a lot, and I know, today, how about today? Pete goes 2 for 3 with a single, a homer, and a sac fly, and the one out, he swung at a pitch that hit him. It's just an amazing run that he's on, and I'm having a blast watching him. I'm very grateful that he's a Chicago Cub. Over to Kyle Tucker. If we did this exercise like a week and a half ago, it would be exceeding expectations. I think right now he's just met expectations, which is still plenty fine. Slashing 262, 369, 524. If you were to end the season with that still would be right around where you want him to be. But we know, and we've seen that there's another level up for him. And this is obviously just a rough patch for him. And if he continues to just sneak in a double here, sneak in a homer here until he gets hot again, he'll get hot and those numbers will spike right back up. I still think his presence in this lineup and his trading for him is the biggest reason why the Cubs are where they are, along with probably Pete. And I still really would love if the Cubs re-signed him yesterday, because I do believe he's a true superstar in this league. And I do believe that he will come out of this mini funk probably, by tomorrow or really soon. So I think Tuck's met expectations. Catching, obviously the spot I think where, and the whole point of this exercise is, hey, where are the Cubs at and is it sustainable? Everything that I've said so far, first base, second base, shortstop, left, center, right, for the most part, I think is pretty sustainable. And I think it's almost unsustainable that third base has been as bad as it is. Catcher's the one part that's probably unsustainable. Carson Kelly's just been magnificent. He's slashing 300, 436, 650, but that was way better just like a week ago. And Miguel Amaya has been outstanding too. And I think that me mainly have not given him enough credit on this show because of how great Kelly's been. But Miguel Amaya has gotten some huge hits for the Cubs this year. And none bigger than the one against the Dodgers, which was probably more dramatic than Turner's at bat today, believe it or not. And he's been great. They haven't had any issues with guys running all over him like we were concerned about in the offseason. It's just been an A+, and probably will have to come down at some point. And then last but not least is Seiya. Seiya is just being Seiya. This is just a very typical Seiya season. The only thing with Seiya that is really frightening to me is just the on base. The power's been amazing. He's got 10 plus home runs. It's been a different form of Seiya. It's the same roller coaster, but just a different ride, if you will, because typically it's like, oh, he's too passive. This year he's been overly aggressive, and he's crushing the ball when he gets a hold of it. But he's also has an on base percentage of 299, which by his standards is flat out unacceptable. So it's been a very weird year for him, but I would still say he's met expectations because he's hit a bunch of home runs for the Cubs. And I think that there's obviously a lot more room for improvement with Seiya, especially in the OBP range. So that's the 9-9. Obviously very positive so far. When we do this exercise, maybe next week with relievers and starters, it probably won't be so kind, especially, with a few relievers, but always fun to check in. Maybe we'll do that like once every couple of months, see where guys are at, and then see where you're at in the standings. But very fun show today, guys. Thank you so much. 683 people joining us live on a Tuesday night at 10:15. Never ceases to amaze me how amazing Cubs fans are, and genuinely believe that like they had a say in today's outcome with the crowd noise and how into it they got in the ninth inning. It's just, never take for granted being able to cover this team. It's very, very cool. So Let's see if we can get a sweep. I would love to have a broom in the background on Wednesday night. The Cubs should sweep. They should find a way to get that done, and then we could exhale a little bit and enjoy the day off Thursday. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Sam Olber, and this was a walk-off edition of Locked On Cubs. Take care, everybody.